From the heart of Georgia, bringing you common sense each week. It's time for the Edwards Report.
Hello, folks. Welcome. This is Bill Edwards, and you've tuned into the very first episode of the Edwards Report, a Good Day weekly podcast. Now, the little nod to Good Day in the title, that's a heartfelt tip of the hat to the giant of the airwaves, Mr. Paul Harvey, and like him, we aim to be concise, maybe even a little on the controversial side, something that sticks to you, perhaps even a little chuckle, and as always leave you wanting more. So, what are we trying to do here? Well, think of it as your weekly dose of common sense served up with a side of Southern charm. We're here to revive that classic American spirit of storytelling, blending a little humor, maybe some hard-earned wisdom, and a whole lot of patriotism. Our mission is pretty straightforward. We want to talk about the things that matter to Georgia and to America, to celebrate the values that built this great nation and offer a common sense perspective on the news of the day. We believe things like faith, family, hard work, and loving your country never go out of style. We're aiming for straight talk, thoughtful conversation, and yeah, we want to leave you smiling when things are done. And folks, when we talk about heritage, especially here in my hometown of Savannah, Georgia, well, the stories are baked right into the cobblestones. We are diving into some of the rich history of the weeks ahead. Think about it. General James Oglethorpe stepping ashore, making peace with Tomochichi, and laying out this beautiful city with a vision that few could imagine back in 1733. That's where it all began. Then fast forward just a few decades to the Revolution. We'll talk about the Siege of Savannah. Many historians call it the second bloodiest battle of the entire war, right here. Brave men fighting, dying for the cause of liberty, a story often overshadowed by that was so vital to our nation's founding. And of course, the Civil War. Sherman's march is as famous as it can be, but his arrival in Savannah, he didn't burn it. Instead, he famously telegraphed President Lincoln offering the city as a Christmas present in 1864. There's a story there and a reason why Savannah was spared: the torch. We'll explore that. He just thought Savannah was too beautiful. Looking ahead to World War II, did you know that right here in Savannah, workers built 88, count them, 88 Liberty ships, 88 of them. These vessels were crucial to the war effort. We couldn't have won the war without them, carrying the supplies and the troops across treacherous seas. And significantly, it is one of our first major projects where black and white workers stood shoulder to shoulder, united in a common patriotic cause. Now, that's a piece of American history we should all know and be proud of. See, understanding where we came from helps us navigate where we are now. And speaking of now, well, sometimes you just see things in the news that make you scratch your head. For instance, just recently we saw a situation over the Georgia legislature where a number of Democrat representatives reportedly walked out. Why? Because they didn't want to vote on a measure concerning whether taxpayer dollars should fund gender transition surgeries for prison inmates. Now, folks can have different opinions on many things, but it does make you wonder where a simple common sense fits into this one in the equation sometimes. We'll be touching on current events like this, not to shout, but to apply some straightforward and maybe even old-fashioned thinking. So that's a little taste of what you can expect from the Edwards Report. We'll keep it short and sweet, around 5 to 7 minutes each, perfect for your commute and your coffee break. We'll share perspectives, dig into history, look at the news through the lens of traditional values, and always try to honor the spirit of the South and this great country. I've spent a lifetime behind microphones, and from my early days in radio and television right here in Savannah and in Charleston to teaching broadcasting, serving our country in the Army Reserve, and hosting talk radio. It's a privilege to share these stories and thoughts with you now in this new way. Thanks for tuning into our first episode. I truly hope that you'll make the Edwards Report a regular part of your week. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, This is Bill Edwards reminding you to have a good day, and remember, sometimes the best way forward is to remember the values that got us here. That's the Straight Talk for today.
That's the Edwards way. Southern stories brightening up your day. Heritage and truth in all that we do. The Edwards Report is here